Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with a new short movie. The name of this short movie is What If Naruto Was Neglected by His Family and Mastered a New Chakra Art. And yeah guys, it is an unscripted short movie and my own idea. Now before continuing this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And this is a disclaimer, this may get a little bit dark. For those who say that I should have put a disclaimer, just say that there is a disclaimer, so here it is. Anyways, before continuing this, today is going to be a double upload, so stay tuned for our story on Meta What If channel as well. And without any further ado, let's begin with our today's short movie. Our story begins 6 years after the QB attack in Konoha no Sato, as we go towards the said village to see that it was October 10th and nighttime, as the village was lit up as a festive was going on there. It was the 6th year anniversary of the QB's defeat, and the people held this festival in order to commemorate and honor those who have lost their lives in order to defeat the QB. As the shinobis, civilians, clans, as well as the council were all gathered there, as was the guest of importance, Minato Namikaze, the Hokage of the said village, and his family, who have done them a greater duty, as both of the older daughters, Mio Uzumaki Namikaze and Mito Uzumaki Namikaze, have become the Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tailed Fox, as they were brought here to honor them. As this was going on, we see that far away from that place in the Shinobi district that was barren as of the moment right now, because of the people being in the center heart where the festival was going on. We see that in the Uzumaki Namikaze house where the lights were dimmed and barely lit, upstairs in an attic we see a boy just staring himself in a mirror. He had blue eyes, as he had blonde hair and tan skin, with 3 whisker marks on each side of his cheek. As now we see Naruto Uzumaki, the youngest of the Uzumaki Namikaze children, was seated there, left alone all by himself. Why he was there, you may ask? Well, ever since he was young, him being normal because he had low chakra, couldn't catch up with his siblings, and the parents have told him that there was something important that his siblings need to do. Both of his sisters need to do, and for that they need to train them and train them to be strong. Naruto understood at the time, but things took a worse turn when everyone began to praise them way too much, to the point where they let things get over their head and begin to outright ignore them and even blame him for the things they have done. So far so that Naruto was almost like a stranger living amongst even his own family now. The only thing he found solace in all of his short 6 years of life was in reading books. The only thing he felt comfort with was gazing upon the pages filled with scriptures and knowledge. The only thing he could gain from them. And so now we see, currently, after reading a book of such, which has raised huge amount of curiosity within him, he was staring at himself. Staring for hours and hours to countless ends. As now we see, he was disrupted as he heard a knock on his door. As Naruto, breaking through his focus, then got up and looked at the time. It was almost 4 to 5 hours as he was staring himself in the mirror. As his eyes widened, he was currently focusing his mind way too hard. As now we see, Naruto then said, as another knock was heard, "Yes, who is it?" "It's me, Mio. Everyone is downstairs, so get your ass downstairs, Naruto." Yes, I will be there," said Naruto in a soft-spoken tone. As now we see, Naruto came downstairs. Kushina and Minato looked at him and asked, "Why did you not come with us?" Where?" "Tonight was the QB's festival and your birthday. We went to the village to celebrate. Your sister had a great time. You could have done the same, Naruto. You could have made a lot of friends." Nobody told me." Now we even need to tell you that it is your own birthday that you need to celebrate. Happy birthday to you as well, Mito-ne-san. And you as well, Mio-ne-san. If that is all, then I'll be leaving back to my room. I'm tired and I need to rest. Are you feeling fine, son?" As Naruto flinched when he heard those words. "Yes, I am feeling fine." You don't need to worry about anything. As after saying this, Naruto went upstairs. He didn't bother calling them anymore Kachan or Tochan. He just answered their question, and that was the extent of it. Because he has learned from the books that he has read, he shouldn't bother with the people who don't even give him the time of their day. So, he was just keeping them to the arm's length, as he has learned from the books that has been his friends all along those years. As now we see, after entering inside his room, Naruto closed his eyes again. And as he was laying on his bed, he could only think of the few pages that he was able to read through the new book, until it abruptly stopped writing and there were nothing more than blank pages. As he had a curiosity to find out what was this book. It had an Uzumaki crest on it, meaning that it belonged to the Uzumaki village and the Uzumaki people that his mother oh so proudly profound about. But he needed to know why there wasn't nothing written about it. Uzumakis were known for their arts in Fuinjutsu mastery, and that was levelly praised all across the world, and there are many books written about it, filled with knowledge to the brim. Naruto has read most of them, and has a kank for Fuinjutsu, but what he wanted to know was, what was this art? The art of mind. One could activate 100% of his mind. It can become the most deadliest weapon in the world. It was stated there. The Uzumakis were experimenting with it. He thought so to himself that it must have been before the whole ordeal of the war in which they went extinct. As Naruto's eyes narrowed, he really wanted to know. So the next day, after waking up and having his breakfast that he made for himself, Naruto cleaned up the dishes, not leaving anything behind, and leaving a letter that he will be visiting Hiruzen Sarutobi-sama at his estate. He left. As now we see, Naruto arrived there and knocked on the door. It was Konohamaru who opened it. Hey, Nissan, what are you doing here such early in the morning? Hey, Konohamaru. Is Gigi here? Ah, yeah, Grandpa is in the backyard. Why, something you need? Yeah, I need to ask a few questions. Huh, you and your questions. Said the young Sarutobi as Naruto rolled his eyes, ruffling his hair. Why, you little? Stop embarrassing your Nissan, okay? Yeah, whatever you say. Come inside, Nissan. As after that we see, Konohamaru called. Grandpa, Naruto Nissan is here. Tell him to come to the backyard. Konohamaru. As Konohamaru looked towards him as Naruto nodded, and he walked there. What is it that can I do for you today, Naruto? Good morning, Gigi. Ah, good morning to you, my boy. Now, tell me, what is it that I can do for you? I found this book. As Hiruzen's eyebrow rose, since he has read most of the books, this one in particular he hasn't seen. So, it was supposed to be a Fuinjutsu book, the last of it. You have read all the 30 parts of it? All the 30 books that were from amateur all the way up to a seal master level. Yes, I have. Impressive. So what do you have learned? That seal is just nothing more than a complex form of wording that one can bend and use it to its own advantage to create new seals. Impressive indeed, Naruto. So, you wish to become a seal master then? No, there's something else. You see, this book isn't completely finished. How so? The books that I have, all 30 set, are complete. You see, this is an Uzumaki one. From what I can tell, this might have been the one that they wrote down the original scripture in. I see. What you have in your hand is quite rare, Naruto. Yes. But right here, as Naruto opened the book and flipped through the pages, he pointed towards the stuff. What is this telepathy? As Naruto read this. As Hiruzen began to read this, as Naruto explained. As after listening into this and reading about this, Hiruzen was baffled. One can use a mind to such an extent? Huh. Who would have thought? Leave this to an Uzumaki to figure out. But, alas, because of the war they went extinct. Or did they? Tell you what, Naruto. Why don't you begin to experiment and see for yourself? I can't do that? Of course you can. And besides, from what I can tell, it barely needs any chakra since there is barely mention of any chakra in there. One thing I appreciate about Uzumaki is that they barely mentioned any useless crap in their book and went straight to the point. I can tell that is true. Well, I guess I will keep this in a record and tell you how far this goes. Alright. Now on your way, Naruto. As Naruto left, we see that Hiruzen was quite shocked, at the same time quite amazed. That young boy is gonna go far, way far ahead. As now we see, Once Naruto returned back home, instead of going upstairs to his room, Naruto arrived in the backyard. Since he saw that no one was there, he sat down under a tree, closing his eyes and sitting in a meditative position. As he began to silence one thing at a time. First, he muted the bird's chirping noise, and then, step by step, he started to gain the control of his mind. And suddenly, there was nothing more than silence. So much silence in all of this bright world that he could even hear his own flow through his veins. And even that was next silence. And then was the heartbeat, which he muted out himself. He was in complete silence, deafening silence, so silent that he could even not hear his own words or even thoughts. After clearing his mind to that level, we see that Naruto began to sense that his chakra began to move. Since he could sense and feel the vein coursing through his veins, he could also now feel, sense, and hear chakra itself coursing through his veins and chakra coils. As that chakra began to gather itself on Naruto's hands, as Naruto's body began to grow warmer and warmer, and suddenly his focus was broken as Kushina shook him and stared at him with concern. Are you okay, Naruto? What? What are you doing here, Kachan? Said Naruto, as he almost blushed when he slipped that out. As Kushina smiled and said, well, nothing wrong with that. I see that you are relaxing here. But are you okay, Naruto? Yeah, I was just meditating is all. So our little brother has taken a kank of meditating. What next? You want to become a monk? Said Mio jokingly, but Mito frowned upon hearing that. She liked her little brother way too much for that to happen, as she even glared at Mio. Unbeknownst to Mito, Mio also were a little bit scared when Naruto replied back to her, as Naruto got up and said with a sigh, I'm sorry to disturb you. I'll be heading back to my room. As Naruto arrived back inside his room, Naruto began to write down on his log what has happened today. As now we see time begin to pass by after that incident, as Naruto began to grow up. Naruto reached at the age of 8 and was entered into the academy alongside his siblings. Naruto showed great amount of strength in psychological warfare, and not only that, he also was taking Fuinjutsu classes. That in itself was something that no one thought he would master. And then there was the traps and containment classes, which he got an A in. As now we see, instead of being a traditional shinobi like he would, Naruto was given a different sort of headband and was sent to a TNI department at the age of 13. As he was about to be apprenticed by Anko Mitarashi as well as Ibiki Morino, two of the most notorious TNI department members. They had taken a liking to the brat and saw that he has mindset of becoming one such man. As now we see, Naruto and his family was enjoying their dinner. Most likely their family, since Naruto was basically dragged here because he has graduated. As Naruto, after eating his ramen, then said, if that is all, that I would like to leave to my room. Naruto, wait, said Kushina. You just graduated today. You became an adult. Don't you want to go and have a fun time with your friends? I have no friends, said Naruto, as immediately everyone frowned after hearing that, as Mio and Mito begin to think hard for a lot of time until they noticed that they might have put down a few girls who were trying to confess to their brother, who has, in their opinion, grown a little bit too much of handsome and quite cute in their perspective, but they didn't knew that Naruto had no other friends. As on the other side, Naruto knew that it was because his sisters continuously nagging and trying to intervene in his life. He was prevented from making any friends in the end. As now we see, Naruto then said, as I was saying before I was interrupted, I would be in my room now. Tomorrow I have to go and report in the TNI department, where I will be under Ibiki Morino-sama and Anko Mitarashi sensei. As after that, Naruto bid his family good night and went upstairs, and after going there, he rested. As soon as he closed his eyes opened as he got up, and then turned back to look at his bed where his body was lying. He was in limbo state, a state in which souls that had something left behind in this world and couldn't move on were trapped. As Naruto began to wander around, here he could train with his senses now. As he finally arrived in front of one man who was seated there, he had long black hair with red eyes in them and black tomos. It was Madara Uchiha, and it was all the way at the valley of the end where he was buried near the cave. Sorry it took me a while, Sensei, but I am here. It still amazes me that you have the ability to go in and out of limbo, kid. Yes, I still am thinking about the first time we met a few years back. For what? For how you changed my perspective. I mean, you basically have read throughout the whole library of Konoha by now, have you not? Well, somewhat, yes, because of me able to unlock my limbo state in which I can walk around and do a lot of physical changes as well. I was able to read without any interruptions. And I am able to find out a lot of secrets that helped you as well, didn't I? Of course you did. As now I see, it was Naruto who informed the truth about the Uchiha stone in which the prophecy was written to Madara, that it was altered. And the sage state in the sacred art books that there was nothing like that sort mentioned there even. As Madara took it a hard time to understand and to come to terms that it was the truth that the kid was telling him. After all, what he has said was quite a lot to believe in. But in the end, he believed Naruto and trained him because he knew that Naruto would be the one to stop the monster that he had created. Sensei, I have a question to ask. I know that you are training me to stop Obito and the organization known as Akatsuki. Yes, and Zetsu. Don't forget about him. That sneaky slime is the one who might have caused this. I have a hunch, kid, but he is the one who is behind all of this. I'm sure of it. I can tell, Sensei. Anyways, what were you trying to say, kid? Is it necessary to save this world? I mean, what do you mean by that? I mean, think about it. I have been learning about a lot of other stuff, and I have been reading a lot of reports as well because of this ability. And as far as I can see, Kona isn't as people think it is, the nicest place on Earth, and the most helping people on Earth. They have done a lot of damage to the other villages as well. This is the rule of war, Naruto. To protect oneself, one must be capable of hurting the other. That is the world out there. Kill or be killed. Either you become a hunter or either you become a prey. It's up to you and your choices. But what about the senseless deaths that occurred during all of this? The people who got in the crossfire. The people who didn't even ask for this. There are a lot of sacrifices that are needed to be made in order to win in a war. But what you are saying is right, and that is why I started the war in order to stop the future ones. But it seems that Hashirama was not capable of understanding that, and neither was I, because I was being manipulated into thinking that I was doing some greater good by destroying one thing and creating another. But now that I understand that it was futile, I was being manipulated into doing something else entirely, which I'm not aware of. Sensei, do you think that we should listen to me, kid? You're way too young to be thinking of that. I mean, what would you get out of, well, not saving them? They're either born to be destroyed or just destroy one another. Yes, you're right about that. And in this way, like you said, the people who are innocent, won't they get caught in the crossfire as well? You're right about that. But think of it. What if I was able to find a way? A seal. Yes. A seal that will destroy those with ill intentions and preserve those with kind ones. But kid, even the most kindest of souls can muster up the courage to think of the most illest of the things. What will he do then? I I don't understand. Human mind is one thing that can change multiple times in a short span of time, kid. I mean, you were able to persuade me and change my way from thinking that the only way that I found for the peace was the only one way. And you made it look like there were many other ways, and I was able to see through it, see through the errors of my ways. But like this, my mind can change again, and so can yours. As you were saying that At one point, you wanted to become the savior, and now you're saying that are these people even worth saving? What next? You will be aiming for them to be destroyed. You're right about that. I didn't thought of that. It's already sunrise. Get back to your body, kid. You shouldn't stay in the limbo state for too long. Yeah, I guess you're right. Oh, and Naruto? Yes, Sensei. Congratulations on becoming a Genin. Thank you, Sensei. As now we see, Naruto woke up, and after doing the same routine as usual, making himself his breakfast and cleaning his dishes, he went to the TNI department for reporting. And after arriving there, he began to work with Uncle Mitarashi as well as Hibiki Morino. As now we have a time skip of 2 years. Naruto is at the age of 15 now, and Chunin exams have already happened. Naruto is a Chunin because he had to take a part in exams and has grown up much more into a heartthrob, to the point that people who once ignored him, especially the female population, begin to see him in a new light. He has been gaining his own fan following for quite a while now. People have begun to call him Naruto-sama. So much so as now we see Mito and Mio were hanging out with their friends, which were Hinata, Sakura, Ino, Tenten, and Hana Inuzuka, a senior. As they were talking about boys, and from boys, the talk turned to words by Ino to their little brother. You know, I've been thinking about it, Mito. Your little brother, is he single? To our knowledge, he isn't dating anyone. Why? As both of them frowned because they had the lack of that knowledge. As Ino then giggled and said, well, let's just say I was asking for a friend of mine. As they certainly didn't like that one bit. As Naruto then, as Ino then, as Mio then said, what's your deal, Ino? Oh, nothing, Mio-chan. I was just, he's kind of nice, young, and good-looking, and I'm a single girl. What do you expect? I mean, I hope you don't mind and all. Of course we mind. He's ours, little brother, said Mito, as her eyes flashed red before turning back. As there was a moment of silence, Asana then said, so you two like him as well, huh? As both of them then blushed deeply red, as them declared at one another, what? You like him? But he's our little brother. Same could be said for you as well, Nisan. You like him as well, but he's our little brother, isn't he? That's disgusting. Mother would be disgraced. Actually, said Hinata, there is a possibility that you might be able to marry Naruto, at least one of you will be, because Uzumaki's and other clans are known to have incest amongst them, and due to that, there is a chance that one of us might also be able to marry him. No, even if one of us will, we won't allow him to marry another. As that is when Sakura then said, hey, you can't hog all over him. He's just your little brother and nothing else. To us, he's fair game. Who you else think he will rather fall in love with? He loves his sister. Who else do you think he would? I hardly believe that, Tenten said. As now we see, unbeknownst to Naruto, who was working with Anko at the time, he felt chills run down his spine. Are you okay, Naruto-kun? Everything is fine, Anko-sensei. Can we continue on? Yes. Now tell me, you damn bastard, where is the son of a bitch of snake? Said Anko, as Naruto and Anko were dealing with a spy that was turned out to be Mizuki, a teacher from Naruto's past that turned out to be the one working for Orochimaru, as he wasn't giving anything to them. But Naruto, he was itching to use his seal. It was Anko's sensei's turn, and that is why he was waiting. As now we see, after Naruto used his seal, he blurted out everything and even gave out those who were working with him, including Danzo's name. And after this was revealed, the Hokage was given the list by both Naruto and Anko. Is this the list? All of them? Yes, Hokage-sama. Naruto is the one who used the seal, said Hibiki Morino, who was there standing in front of the two Chunins and Jonin. I see. You and Anko can leave. Naruto, you stay behind. As Naruto raised an eyebrow, as Naruto then said, hi. As after the two of them left, Minato then said, I'm proud of you, Naruto. As Naruto didn't look surprised one bit and had a stoic expression on his face. Is that all, Hokage-sama? As Minato then frowned and said, look, son, I have understood this in the past 2 years since you began your working as an active duty of a shinobi that you have grown distant from us. It's nothing, Okage-sama. I'm just doing what is best for my village. Trying my best to keep it safe from traitors like these people in front. I can understand that, but Naruto, we are your people. We are your family. We have a right to know, right? You know that, my boy. I understand. I hope you do, Naruto. You can leave. I'll see you at the dinner. I think I might be late tonight. I can't promise anything. That is an order. You have to be there. As Naruto halted and licked his lips with his tongue, as he frowned inwardly, I will be there. As after bowing down, he left, as he was inside. As he walked in, after listening into this conversation from the other room, you had to order your son to stop by. I told you that this would come to bite you in the ass, Minato, but you ignored me. I'm sorry, Iruzan-sama. I'm not the one who you should be apologizing to. I will in the night time. And so the night came, as Minato and Kushina and Mito and Mio were waiting patiently for their little brother. And so Naruto returned, and as soon as he did, they threw him a party, as Naruto was shocked. And then they tried their self to force into his life, but Naruto ignored them while staring at them. It was something odd about his eyes now. Whenever they looked into him, they would avert their eyes from him. It was as if they had intensity, ferociousness, like a monster was hiding in those eyes. They were just so deep. And so, they all backed off, as Naruto then said, I appreciate the gesture, but the thing is that I am too much exhausted. And I would rather not anyone touch me, because the last time that happened, let's just say that I have PTSDs. Said Naruto, lying through his teeth, because he knew that he had still to save a lot of money before he could move out. And so, he returned to his room, while Mio and Mito returned to theirs. And in the night time, they began to talk and contemplate of what was being talked amongst the friends last night. And they knew that they needed to do something about it. And so, they did. As now we see there, in the middle of the night, there was a knock on Naruto's door. So, Naruto, returning from the limbo once more, opened his eyes, and found himself tied by his hands. What the? As his shirt was off. As then he saw two violet eyes looking at him. Naruto-kun, yours hour and hour alone. You weren't answering your door, so we let ourselves in. We hope you don't mind, since we're your sisters and all. What the hell are you doing? Said Naruto with a little bit of disgust on his face, now evident. Let go of me, said Naruto. Don't try, Naruto. It only hurt for a bit. After that you might enjoy yourself. And who knows? Maybe with this, father and mother might allow us to be together. No. I have enough of this. I'm done with this. As Naruto used his chakra, which was a chakra burst, sent throughout by his mind in the form of a shockwave. As Naruto got up, he unleashed the seal with just a single click and went downstairs. As soon as he arrived downstairs with his shirt off, we see that Minato and Kushina were there. As Naruto's eyes widened seeing them. Suddenly, Mio and Mito arrived downstairs, rushing after him. Both looked baffled, and they're a little bit roughened up because of the attack. What the hell is wrong with you all? What happened? Naruto assaulted us, said Mio, as she couldn't think of anything else but to blame Naruto. As Naruto's eyes went, What? What do you mean I assaulted you? You were the one who were trying to assault me. Look, I even have a proof. Look at my wrist. But before Naruto could do anything, Kushina got up, and in her fit of rage, she slapped him across the face. How dare you? How dare you, after what they have said, you try to do to them, you say this. But look at my wrist. I was the one tied up. I was being assaulted. You can't be seriously just taking their side just because they said so. As he looked towards both of his parents, as his eyes widened in realization, their eyes were nervous. I'm disappointed in you, Naruto. Very disappointed. I should have known better. I thought you would have matured, but it seems like you're nothing more than arrogant and ignorant. You will be punished for this, Naruto. Tomorrow we will hold a council meeting regarding this. What? You can't be serious. And not only that, I will not have a rapist and assaultist in my clan. You're banished from here. Never set a foot inside my home ever again. As Mio and Mito's eyes widened, as they realized what kind of mistake they made, but they were too fearful to incur the wrath of their own parents on them. as Naruto was just left there baffled. Not only was he assaulted, but he was framed for being basically a rapist, and then now he was kicked out. As now we see, in the next morning, the whole village basically knew that he was a rapist, which he wasn't, and his punishment was being sent to blood prison for 6 years. And once Naruto was thrown there, we see that his chakra was completely sealed off. But luckily enough, it only worked for physical ninjutsu and whatnot. Naruto threw his ninjutsu arts, and not only that, due to the new technique that he has been learning and mastering, was able to continue on. And so, he now sat down and began to focus. He was no longer a shinobi. He no longer was tied down to Konoha, but he held a deep emotion from it. A emotion that he locked himself away from. The emotion of hatred. As now we see, no matter what time it was in the blood prison, in his cell, in the courtyard, Naruto would be seen in a meditative position. As his eyes would be closed, he would create a dome around him which made it seem that the normal people could see him, that he was there, except for the gods. But he was there, and he would be training and honing his mind skill, because that was the only thing he could do. And by this time, Naruto was capable of using 90% of his mind, capable of controlling others through his mind as well, without them noticing. But unbeknownst to him, one person there, known as Chojiro, was able to see him. He was an old man who was framed as well and was thrown in there. As now we see, Naruto opened his eyes as he looked at him. Why have you been staring at me for quite a while, Chojiro-san? Same could be said for you, Naruto Uzumaki. I've seen that you have been innocent, and yet you are here, framed by your own sister who assaulted you. As Naruto's eyes narrowed, so you too know these arts. Of course I do. They are the mythical arts that even sage treaded carefully on. Even before the age of Chakra, these arts existed. For what I am surprised of is how you are aware of them. Through a book written by an Uzumaki before he perished. Only a few pages. Very interesting and intriguing that how far you have come along on your own. Although the new pathways that you have created are weakened, still weakened, but you can learn much more and grow stronger in the upcoming years you will be here. How so? It is a hard job that you might have to take. You might have to go far beyond the limbo to the land of dead even, through your teleportations. But you will be able to learn a lot more, and I'll be willing to help you. But you want something in return? No. Look, kid, I am an old man, dying here, bound to die here anyways. At best I have 2 to 3 years to live. These powers, I can sense that you have them, but you're having a hard time because of the chakra that you possess. I wish to help you with them. And that is why I've been waiting here for almost 10 years for you. As Naruto's eyes widened, wait, what? The day you were born, I knew that you were somewhat special. I could sense it. How? Mind is something more than it seems, and once it becomes your weapon and defense, you are unbreakable. You can basically become a god in this world, kid. And I can use all of it. As Naruto's eyes widen, and I'm giving you a helping hand. I gratefully accept this. As now we see, Naruto in the blood prison begin to grow closer to Chojiro and begin to train. As the report came, after 2 years have passed since Naruto was sent there for his punishment, to back in Konoha, where Minato and Kushina, even though they hated that their son did this, realized that this was probably best for him. You need to understand what he has done, even if it was because of the rage. As now we see, Kushina was not trying to even bother reading Naruto's report letter, but Minato did. And he was quite shocked when he found out that Naruto was meditating and was calming himself. As in the night time in the dinner place, we see that Minato revealed this to Kushina, as Kushina then said, "Don't talk to me about that rapist. He's no son of mine. If anything, I'd rather have him die there. Kushina, enough. He's our son, whether you like it or not. He's no son of mine. No son of mine would be a rapist." As Mito and Mio looked down, feeling the weight of guilt over them. As now we see, back in their room, both Mio and Mito then said, "We screwed up, Nesan. What are we gonna do? What can we do?" He'll be sent to blood prison, and after he returns, we will work through this. I have a plan now. Look, it may be a half-baked plan, but we might have enough time to prepare. After return, he might be aiming to return and prove himself to be innocent. If we can let him in, through us. You're right. In this way, he will be ours and ours alone, and we will get to keep him, regardless of whether hates him or not. He will be ours, and that is our end goal, is it not? Of course it is. Then we must do what it is necessary to do. In the meantime, we must focus. And so they did. The Battle of the Akatsuki happened, and they were close to losing, if it wasn't for some divine intervention that made Obito change his mind, and the rest of the Akatsuki, and they attacked on their own, in front of the whole Shinobi Council. And even Akatsuki warned them that Zetsu is the son and the will of Kaguya or Tsuki, who has manipulated them. And even Madara Uchiha, and even Madara, who was revived to side with them, then revealed the truth to them, revealing that a child was able to prove the truth in front of him, while he, being a legend, couldn't see in front of his eye. As after that, Zetsu was cornered and defeated, and then sealed away. And the crisis were averted, but one thing good came out of it was that Naruto's name was brought up by Madara, and all credit, even the Akatsuki gave credit to him. Every other nation was quite shocked by this, because they heard that Naruto was the rapist son of Minato Namikaze. When this was revealed to them, everyone looked at them with glare, as Madara revealed that Naruto was a student, and he wouldn't have done that, because that night Naruto was with him, before he was suddenly abrupt awake from his concentration. As after understanding this, Minato and Kushina, who were now realizing that something was off, if the dead legend revealed himself that Naruto was with him in the limbo, something was off. So they returned home, and Mito and Mio, who were supposed to be heroines of this whole turns of events, were then glared at. You left something important out, right? What happened that night? Said Minato in critical condition. Naruto tried to tell me the truth, honestly. Please. Please. We tried to assault him. We were jealous because the other girls liked him, but we liked him as well. We found out that Uzumaki's had incest in them, so we thought that he would be ours if we forced ourselves on him, and we couldn't hold ourselves. He was just too handsome, and others were eyeing him like a piece of meat. We couldn't allow that to happen. But then I became instantly feared when you asked what happened, and we framed Naruto. And once he was sent there, we thought that we would bring him in back into the family once he's freed and all that. But now, you know. As Kushina and Minato were so disappointed that Kushina was heartbroken, that she believed her daughter and not her son's words. His voice rang out. Look at my hands, they were tied, there are even marks there. He was trying to tell them, show them the proof. Even if they were there, she didn't listen. She just assumed that he was the one. And so, now we see, Minato just looked at them with disappointment and disgust. I can't believe this. We sent our innocent son there. And the next morning, in front of the whole council, it was revealed. Kushina tried to intervene, but Minato told her that it was only fair, because it what happened to Naruto, that everyone had right to know. And so now everyone was shocked to find out that their son, Naruto Uzumaki, was actually innocent, and he was the one assaulted by his older sisters, who played the victim card. As now we see, their friends immediately isolated them and even began to protect their brothers. The civilians even tried to protect their children from them now on, because they were the ones who were the assaulters on minors. And as for Naruto, people began to pity him. Pity him because he had a huge future ahead of him. And they all just destroyed that because of their lie, believing in their lie. As now we see, Minato and Kushina were sent to Blood Prison to retrieve him. As Naruto was brought there, his hair had grown to shoulder length, his height was now longer than usual, and he had reached at the age of 17 now. He was a little bit muscular, but had a lean figure. As his eyes, they were deep blue, like they were so deep that one could be mesmerized and fall into it. As Naruto then in a calmer tone then asked, to what do I owe the pleasure of your visit? As there was a moment of silence between them, as Naruto then said, "You do know that we have a limited time before I am to return to my cell." Yes, Naruto. Why did you not tell us? Tell you what? That I didn't show you the proof? I tried my best again, if you don't remember. It was you who, in the end, thought that I was the one who was, well, the one who did that stuff. Not the other way around. Hard when it is not what you expect, right? And from what I have remember, you rather have me die here, so why bother coming up here? Said Naruto, raising an eyebrow. As Kushina flinched, how do you? As that is when they remember what Madara said. Madara did say that you were in limbo. You see, while the other physical aspects of one's body is sealed, the only thing that is not sealed and cannot be sealed is mind itself. And once you turn that into a weapon and your defense, you basically become a walking god amongst others. Much stronger than the Bijus, much stronger than the sage itself. You see, if I wanted, I would have been capable of doing a lot of things, but I didn't. You want to know why? Because I wanted you to be brought here. Because I wanted to see and come to a conclusion. What conclusion? I still haven't, but we might see after this talk. Please come back to the village, Naruto. Why would I? You're the one who freed me from that shackles. Why would I willingly allow myself to be tied to them again? I hardly doubt that they will be punished because they are roaming around so freely, while I, on the other hand, on the next very day, was thrown here. Was I not? Naruto, they helped in the war. The villagers, they are pissed at them, but they won't punish them because they are women who won't be held accountable because of them being the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko and being your daughters, while I, on the other side, just being a normal shinobi, and your son was being punished for the same thing. Interesting. Continue on. As there was nothing more than silence, Naruto, we're not here to give you counters, we're here to bring you back. Your punishment is ending. I am a free man, am I not? From what I've last heard, you took away my headband, kicked me out of my clan, basically kicking me out of the village as well, and you yourself, alongside the council, banished me. So why should I return? I have no one there. You even were capable of enough of turning my own GD, my grandfather figure, against me, so I don't think that I would be going there again. After all, after my image is tarnished there, who would believe me? They would still be afraid of me that I might try to do something that was said to them. So yeah, I would rather not go there, and I think this is pointless. And I have come to my conclusion. What conclusion? That you're all not worth saving. What? What do you mean by that? I'm not aiming to save you any longer. But Naruto, the threat has been already averted. Threat has been, but not the prophecy's threat. And soon, the earth began to shake. Oh, they're starting. You have months worth of time, Minato Namikaze. I would like to see you try to save your people now. As now we see, soon as they returned, a month began to pass by, as Naruto waited patiently in the blood prison, creating a domain around them so that no one could be harmed within. As now we see, one of the guards looked towards him and said, Naruto, why didn't you leave? You have been the most peaceful of our prisoners, and not only that, you were framed to be here, from what we have heard, and not only that, you helped out the people in the war against the enemy. You're basically our hero. Everyone praises you, and yet you remain here, because the threat is not averted. The shinobi world will be not saved this time around, and I am no hero. I am the one who will bring the end. I have chosen this, myself. And so, everyone witnessed that great tragedy that everyone spoke of began to happen. The earth began to shatter itself. The sun began to tear and bring itself closer to the earth. And then, the very mountains that held the ground strongly like they were a pieces of nails hit to the ground began to pluck out and turn into nothing more than ashes. It was like a world-ending catastrophe, and from the heart of it rose a dragon. A dragon that looked a imitation as well as a structure of both earth and all of its element. The elemental dragon. that that was prophesied to rise to bring destruction and end to this world. And soon it began, the Judgment Day. The villagers tried, the people with arrogance tried. Whoever tried failed miserably because this being was Chakra itself in humanoid form, and it was here to tell and dominate and warn the others that he was nobody's tool. And that is what he did, destroying everyone and everything in its path, while Naruto and a few people in the blood prison remained untouched, alongside those that Naruto was able to make friends with, such as Fu, Gaara, and their siblings, and such friends that were created in other villages, but not a single one from Konoha except for Konohamaru and Hiruzen Sarutobi. As Naruto protected only these two from Konoha, while the rest, they were destroyed. Why? Because they were the ones from the beginning to the end who didn't believe. Hiruzen at first did believe because he was shocked, but when he noticed that Naruto was innocent, he visited after a few months. And he found out, and he promised that he would try to help. And Naruto witnessed that he was trying to be honest, and was feeling a lot of guilt, and it was enough for him. He was the one easier to forgive, while the others who had a strained relationship with him, well, they burned that bridge themselves. As that is when Minato and the other Kages realized the mistake. The prophecy wasn't stating about the war with the Akatsuki, it was stating about this, which means that Naruto is the child of prophecy who knew about this, and yet he has decided that he will be the cause and catalyst of the destruction. As now we see, Naruto appeared in front of the five Kages as they had hope filled in their eyes. As Naruto then said, "Oh, I'm not here to build your hopes up. I'm just here to see how the creature looks like so that I can write down in the scripture." Naruto, why did you do this? Oh, you mean I woke it up before its slumber ends? I did not woke it up. You all did because of your chaos, greed, and all that going on. I just helped it out, realize what it needs to be done. As everyone realized, you are the cause of destruction? Of course I am, but you are supposed to be our hero and savior. Do you think that I would be such words after what you have turned me into? Mind you not that I am nothing more than a monster that you wished for me to be. And I, myself, have become that monster. Now enjoy the rewards of what you have sown. After all, you reap what you sow, isn't that right? And so Naruto disappeared as the dragon of elemental Chakra destroyed them all. And once the barrier were lifted from the given few people, only the population of more than 1,000 people remained, while the rest of the elemental nation and world was wiped out before the elemental dragon went back to its slumber, waiting for another judgment day. As the world was set to reset, as Naruto then said, as I was saying, I am no hero. I am the monster who destroyed you all, ended the shinobi era, and the pioneer of the new nation. And so, now we see the elemental nation, or what was left of it, was baffled, torn into believing that Naruto was the Messiah and the Destroyer, the Christ and the Antichrist of the elemental nation in itself. Why? All because of Konoha, it seems. And Konoha, from there on out, in the history of the new elemental nation that was established, would be gone down as the most violent and disgusting nation in the history of events, for creating a monster and a broken human like Naruto Uzumaki himself. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this short movie off, guys. I hope you liked this one, and if you did, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. As this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing off for the day. Peace.